The Acolyte Episode 5. A lot of lightsaber fighting, and the thing that we were the most worried about was whether Darth Smiley was a Sith or not. And I can finally confirm he is because, well, he says so. Osha wakes up to see the onslaught battle of the Sith. And yes, we can finally call him this because that's what he says he is to the Jedi. Now, personally, I think he's probably a Knight of Ren or something. I mean, there's no way that they would actually, who am I kidding? There probably is way that he is actually a Sith, as they say. But I've got some theories, so stay tuned for those at the end of this video. So the Sith, which we can finally call him that, is killing the Jedi with Master Soul nowhere near to be found, until he and Yord and Jeki are the last ones left. Now, as for the choreography, I think this is probably the best lightsaber choreography that Disney has put out. Not anything near Nick Gillard's prequel trilogy choreography at all, which frankly, I think it should have been. But funny enough, I'm actually flying out to New York today to go hang out with Nick, so we can have a good chat about it as well. So stay tuned for those vlogs coming. So Osha runs through the forest away from Smilo Ren, and Smilo Ren throws his lightsaber at her when Soul shows up and blocks it. Now, he shows up out of the blue here, he's all dirty, and some might say, well, maybe he got yeeted by the Force further than anyone else. I really find that hard to believe, considering there was so much time where all of the Jedi were fighting and they died. Why was he all the way over there? I'm not sure. Maybe he's in on it. Maybe he's evil too. That'd be quite a twist. Anyways, he fights the Sith, Darth Smilo Ren, and we cut to May and Jeki, who eventually cuffs her and puts up a pretty good fight. Soul asks what master hides his face from his pupil, and Darth Smiley says, well, you tell me. So clearly there's a lot of darkness here, there's a darker past that Soul is hiding from us, which we aren't privy to just yet, but we might be. I imagine he probably has something sinister to do with the whole May and Osha's family dying thing. Maybe he mind-wiped Osha from the truth, I don't know. In one of the trailers, I remember seeing Kel Naka fighting Master Torben or something like that on the Witch Planet. So maybe this is some sort of flashback that we see where perhaps one of the witches made Torben end up actually blowing up the whole mountain and then framing the Jedi for it. I really don't know. Yord tells Osha that Smilo Ren has no rules to combat, that he gets in your mind. And she says this is something that my mothers used to do, the witches. So maybe this dude is like a witch Sith or something. Now, as for the rules to combat thing, it's kind of weird considering there are no rules to combat. I mean, you either kill or be killed. That's it. Daphne Keen's character Jeki does a much better job fighting against this Sith than Soul does. A Jedi Padawan is doing a better job than a Jedi Master. A mere Padawan holding her own better. I don't know why that's the case, but my hat's off to Daphne Keen. She did a fantastic job, especially when she took out both sabers and started practicing Jar Kai, much like Anakin did against Dooku in Attack of the Clones. Sadly, he ends up killing Jeki by pulling out a Shoto blade like Ahsoka's short blade and then kills her. But it's just a flesh wound, don't worry about it. She'll be okay, just like Sabine and Reva. Not like Qui-Gon Jinn though, screw that guy. He gets May hostage by throwing his robe over Soul's head and tells Soul that he has no name. But a Jedi like him can call him a Sith. Then for whatever reason, Soul throws his weapon away and wants to save the girl who was killing the other Jedi Masters that they essentially went to intercept and, well, either kill or subdue. Soul asks, why do you risk discovery? Which is like the question that all of us have as fans, right? Why are the Sith now showing up when they weren't supposed to? I mean, Ki-Adi-Mundi said that the Sith haven't shown up for 1,000 years. This is a time of peace.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Why would he risk revealing himself to the Jedi?
The dark side clouds everything.
Because he knows that they're just going to hunt him down. And Smilo Ren says, basically, so he can be a bad boy and wield his Sith powers without the Jedi stopping him. So essentially, the Jedi are the oppressors, and they are evil and mean to the Sith, who just wants to go around killing people. I mean, all he wants is freedom, as he says, to just live peacefully and kill people how and when he wants. He wants a pupil of his own to train, and he tried to find that with May. But she betrayed him, and he would have kept quiet if it wasn't for her turning on him. But don't worry, she'll turn back in a few minutes after hugging Osha. He says if the Jedi see his face, they will die. So Yord comes in, grabs the Sith's helmet to shut off the red lightsaber, and the reason for this is that this is a material called cortosis, if they actually are using that material, not making up something new. This is an ancient material that shuts off energy of high-powered energy devices for a few moments. I covered this in a Vader comic by Dark Horse almost 8 years ago now, and Smiler Ren kills Yord finally by snapping his neck, and then Soul and Smiley go hand-to-hand in combat for a minute. Anyways, the Moths grab the Sith Lord and fly him away. That's right, the Moths, when the Sith could force push a ton of Jedi Masters yet can't fend off some giant Moths. May stuns Soul, and May and Osha have a minute to talk by the sunrise. Monologue scene, why not? May admits to killing their family for them, and Osha says, everything is always about you, and it's always been for you. You're selfish. May says, run away with me. The Jedi have turned you against me, much like Anakin said to Padme.
Come away with me.
The Jedi turned against me. Don't you turn against me?
And she says that they brainwashed you. They hug, and Osha says no. Then they fight. May knocks Osha out and cuts her own hair off simply with the lightsaber to look like her sister. Now she's the imposter and wears Osha's clothes, pretending to be her. I guess she went from we are sisters, we are one under the stars, to I'll kill you,
You will die.
to training 16 years to avenge her sister by killing Jedi Masters, to then turning on her master and saying that she's going to turn herself into Soul and the other Jedi after these said 16 years to be with her sister, to then running away every chance she has to protect her sister against her master during this fight, to then hugging her sister and saying, let's be together, you were brainwashed, then turning on her sister and knocking her out once again to only pretend to be her and kill Soul to maybe get back with her master. The level of wishy-washiness is insane. I just don't think the writer knew what the character wanted to do. I'm very confused even what her thought process is, but maybe eventually she'll figure it out. I don't really know. Overall, my thoughts on this episode were, it just kind of revealed what all of the supporters for the show have been pushing for, that it's not a Sith, it's not a Sith. And well, what do you know? It's a Sith. But hey, maybe now they'll say, that's not what he meant. He's not actually a Sith. He's making fun of people. He's making fun of the Jedi. But it's already too far gone. I mean, not only do we have Ki-Adi-Mundi in this, we have now Jedi that are dead and can't be covered up, that have either gone missing, they have lightsaber wounds in them, and will never return to the Jedi Temple again. Which, I mean, someone's going to notice that, especially during a time of peace. And you have Jedi that now know that a Sith returned and that there's a dude with a red lightsaber killing people. I mean, this is just... oh boy. As for the lightsaber choreography, best lightsaber choreography of the Disney Star Wars timeline so far, which is great. At least they're making good strides and they're making some improvements from before. That being said, still a lot of work to be done. There's a ton of things to talk about this week, but this episode, it just kind of confirmed everything that we already thought. The fact that this dude is a Sith is just really ridiculous and just breaks so much of the lore that was established by George when he went to write episode 1. This was a time of peace. It was 1,000 years of peace. And in some of the even canon comics, Darth Maul goes in the underground areas of Coruscant and he makes a ruckus. He kind of lets it be known that he is a Sith or that he has powers that are not normal. And Palpatine says, he literally tells him, he's like, if you ever do this again, I will kill you. You will ruin everything I have worked so hard to build, which is hiding in the shadows and making sure nobody knows the Sith have returned. That's why he has Dooku be the poster boy for the Clone Wars, so essentially for the Separatist Wars, and Darth Maul, and doesn't reveal himself until he needs to, until the end. So anyways, I think that episode 6 is probably going to have some more lore-breaking stuff, but I guess we'll see what happens then. We have a lot of stuff to talk about this week anyways. Stay tuned for the vlogs in New York with Nick, and of course, catch me in Denver, Colorado at the Fan Expo Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I'll be giving out free sabers, theory sabers, to random fans that will be coming up and taking some photos with me. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you. Always.